Hello everyone, my name is Tara and welcome to Aligning to Love. In this channel I aim to spread hope, joy, peace, and love to the world by sharing goodness and love within my life. In this video I wanted to share my personal and family life updates and events and the signs that I saw along the way. And I apologize in advance if I am sniffing in this video or if I sound nasally and congested. That's because I am, and my head feels very full. I don't know whether it's allergies or if my immunity has been weakened from the stress of the move. And so I've been sneezing nonstop, and I just really want to get these videos out because it's really important to me since this is our last night in our apartment, and there was so much of July that I wanted to capture, and life just had other plans and I wasn't able to do it. And especially it would be very meaningful for me to do it on our last night here. I'm very thankful that my husband was able to come back after his day of work and help load our cars up and help me with things that are needing to be done with height, because I am very short and he's been working so fast and so with so much effort. And it was really a big stress reliever because it would have taken me forever to do a lot of the things that he did very quickly. And so that was really wonderful. And not only just loading us up, but the fact that my husband was able to come back and we were able to be a family and go out to a nice dinner and celebrate being together in our last night at this apartment where we've shared so many years together. We've shared a decade here, and so much has changed within our lives and made us more stronger and loving family. And the birth of our daughter happened here, and bringing her home from the hospital happened here. And all of the years that I've worked with my colleagues and my coworkers and my groups of friends that I have in this town were all parts of living here. And so it's filled my heart with so much love and so much joy. And I'm excited that as much as I have all the feelings and all the emotions coming up while thinking about all the moments and the memories that I've had here, I'm excited because the colleague that I had shared in earlier videos is going to be able to take this apartment when we move out, and they're going to be moving in a few weeks. And so I'm happy for him and his girlfriend because they had been teaching abroad for teaching English in France, and when they came back they were looking for a place to live, and it was perfect timing with us moving out. And so I hope that this apartment can serve as much happiness and love and joy as it did for us, for them. So today is August 1st. It is my brother's birthday. I feel bad that my husband had to come back from where he would have been with my brother and my parents, and that my brother didn't have all of us there to celebrate his birthday. But he did have my mom and dad, and tomorrow when we all head back, we'll celebrate with him this weekend. And that's one of the reasons there's so much that had happened on the 4th of July weekend, and there are so many more details that I had missed. And so if you want the full picture and the full details of the longer version, you can go to my previous video, but I do want to add some things that I forgot to share. So, and I also am going to add first initials of my friends so it's easier to differentiate between every time I say my friend. So going back to the 4th of July weekend, I had been picking up my friend C. She and I both lived in the same hometown in high school, and so I invited her to the ice cream social. We went to that, and she got to hang out with my daughter and my husband and my parents, which she knows really well because we all have connections from 19 years. And that was a really nice surprise because I didn't know she'd be able to attend the ice cream social, and we had been there in the past together, which was really fun to remember and just think about. And then when I dropped her off, I went to my parents' house with my husband and my daughter. And my brother was actually up in Maine visiting my aunt and uncle and our cousins that my husband and I just recently visited with our daughter not too long ago. And my brother texted my parents and said that his co-op and his place of work had posted a video on Facebook for marketing, and it was all about selling meats and other grilling items for the 4th of July weekend and in the whole month of July. And he said we should watch it, and it was hysterical. And I know that it was not just entertaining because of the video itself, but because my brother was in it. And he just, when you know someone more personally, I think it makes it so much more entertaining. And him and some other colleagues were dancing and making silly faces and serious faces as they were holding up different meats like hamburgers and hot dogs and other grilling items like buns and steaks. And I just thought that video was hysterical, and it was very clever and well done. They used really entertaining and upbeat music that would pump you up, and it was just a really fun and relaxed video, and it was very popular. It got thousands of views even in one day, and by day 4 it was up to 4,000. And we live in a very small town, and it was very impressive that they got that many views. And it was these coworker employees are such down to earth and great people, and they really are. I feel like anyone who works in the local businesses, they're the heart of each town. And when you know someone personally and then see their marketing or their videos, it's just so much more funnier and so much more uh, heartfelt when you have that connection. And so I was really happy for my brother, and I kept watching that video over and over again. And then, so that was on the 4th of July night. And then I had talked about that family went to the Brandon 4th of July parade on Saturday. My husband and my daughter and my mom, we all went there. And later that night, we went to a band on the Brandon Green. And my friend E's brother was also in the band. And I didn't realize that it was that band that was playing. And he just recently had another baby, and so I got to say congratulations to him, and that was really nice. And then on Sunday, which I think was the 6th, yes, July 6th, I had talked about that my mom got to see a friend, a blast from the past for her, and I also got to catch up with my friend E, who I just saw her brother the night before, which was really funny. And it was the second time that she ever saw Juniper since Juniper was a newborn. And so I was really excited to be able to see such a good friend of mine that I've had since middle school. And we didn't even plan it. The other thing that was really exciting on Sunday is that my husband and my daughter and I, earlier, before we went to the campground where we get to swim, we were getting to meet our new landlord. And so the landlord that we're going to be moving into his house. And that was really exciting. And it was the start of our big adventure. And that went really smoothly. And well, for me and my husband, my daughter, for some reason, was very cranky at that time. But we wanted all of us to be able to see the new house together. But it was a short meeting. So luckily we were able to leave, and she was able to get settled and go back to being her happy self that she usually is. And so Sunday, in the previous video I said, was the day before my husband's big start of his new job. And so his nerves were really going, and it was really great for him and all of us to be able to be at the beach. And my mom and Juniper had a really great time. And it was funny with her. She didn't like the sand at the lake as much as she did at the beach, at the ocean, because it's not as soft. But by the time the evening had come, she was used to it. And it was just nice to see how she played, and she's finally getting to do more and more. And it's just fun interacting with her. And then on the 7th, July 7th was my husband's birthday. It was also the start of his big job and new job. And then I also had wanted to put, that I forgot to put in the other video, that on Monday when my husband was at work, my mom and I and Juniper, we were all doing errands. We were doing birthday shopping for him. We were getting new pairs of sandals for my daughter that grew out of hers. And we were doing all these miscellaneous things, but one of the biggest things is that I needed to get a cashier's check so that I could pay the first 4 months rent to our new landlord for the house. And I just loved that when I did it, the timestamp on the receipt for the check was at 11:11, and 11:11 for angel numbers is all about manifesting, and the gates of manifestation are open. And that was just a nice message to me that made me feel like I was on the right page and the right path moving forward, and that this decision is going to be so crucial for my family. And I was just really happy to see that. In the other video, I also shared that it was my principal's farewell party, and I feel badly that I wasn't able to go to it, but it was my husband's birthday. There's no way I'm leaving my husband and my family, especially when it was his first day at a new work facility. And I really appreciate and I admire my principal and his leadership, and I did send him a message and said that I hope he enjoyed his night, and that I'm hopefully going to try and see him before he leaves his position for the end of the summer as well. And so that was all the details I believe that I wanted to say for the 4th of July weekend. And then on July 8th was a Tuesday, and that is when Juniper and I decided to head back to our apartment in White River. It was very bizarre leaving my parents' house and not having my husband with us, because we always just left as a family. And it was also the first time that Juniper really didn't have anyone in the back seat with her. And that was strange, because at first I thought the drive there was going to be the first time, but then my friend C ended up coming, and so that worked out. And it was just really, it was peaceful. The drive back was peaceful. We didn't have any fussiness, and the views were really spectacular because we left later in the day, and the sun was setting, and we got back. I went into the co-op, and this was the start of a lot of new milestones for me, because I'm so short and we live on the 3rd floor. My husband and I would always tackle errands together, especially when my daughter was still in one of those portable car seats, because I couldn't lug the car seat with her in it all the way down the flights of stairs and then get her to the car, which is up another flight of stairs on the pavement, even though you're on the ground. And so when she was finally able to start walking and I could pick her up in the car seat, we had stayed permanently in the car, that's when I was able to start doing a lot more errands with her. And so this was really the first time that I didn't have anyone with me, and we just picked up a few things for dinner, and so I could just hold her and just grab the few items and then head back to the car. And we got back in, we got settled around 6 o'clock, and we had a really nice evening. We put some music on, we danced, we read books, but it was very not eerie, but it was bizarre not being with my husband. And I was going to try and do a video that night, but it did take a while for my daughter to go back to, down to sleep. She had been, the whole month of starting at the beginning of July, she had been getting her molars in. My daughter has the first 4 front teeth on the bottom and the first 4 front teeth on top. And then she had molars, 1 molar here at the bottom one molar here at the bottom, and then even one each on both sides on the top. And so she had been in a lot of pain, and so I had needed to make sure that I had baby Tylenol to be able to give to her so that she was able to sleep well and smoothly. And even with that, she still had to get up quite a lot. So the rest of the week from the 8th to the 12th was a lot of disrupted sleep, but my heart felt for her. And so that was July 8th we came home. I'm just looking at my notes because it's been so long since I've gone back to review what was happening. And then so that night we didn't use a cart when we went to the co-op, but the what was I going to say? Oh, yes. So in June, we were supposed to have our power turned off because they were needing to do construction in the area. But because we had had that heat wave at the end of June, they decided it was too detrimental to do that for people. And so they postponed it until July 8th. And so that's another reason why we left later from my parents on that Tuesday, so we could bypass the power being turned out. But it was out, and I talked to my neighbors for more than 8 hours, and so everything that we had in the fridge was gonna need to be thrown out. So I woke up really early on Wednesday morning because we have compost people come like at 6 in the morning to take the compost. And so I cleaned out the fridge, and I really did not get much sleep because my daughter had her molars coming in. And so I cleaned out the fridge. I composted what needed to be composted. I took the trash and recycling out, and I felt really productive, and I was really happy I was able to get all that done while she was sleeping. And on Wednesday, when she did wake up, we ate breakfast, but I needed to do a big order at the co-op, and this was the first day that I did put her in a cart, and it was so special for me, but I forgot my phone, so I didn't have any pictures of it. And that day on the 9th, which was July 9th on a Wednesday, it was so meaningful to me because I was seeing so many angel numbers, like constantly 1 through 9, but then also 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12. And I was also kicking myself that I didn't go to the co-op earlier because by the time I went, it was 4:45, and I was thinking, oh man, I'm going to hit all of the work traffic, and people are going to be so rushing around and busy trying to get their shopping done and get home. And I'm like, I probably picked the worst time to do it. But it was actually worked out in my favor, and it was probably a really good thing that it did, because I did get all my shopping done, but at the end I wanted to make sure I parked my car somewhere in the shade so that it didn't get overheated for when I put my daughter back in the car. And then I realized that even though it was in the shade, it was so far away from where the carts needed to be put, and I didn't want to leave my daughter in the car and walk across. It would have been around a corner, so I wouldn't have seen the car. And luckily, just as I was thinking that, I saw one of my families that I had, their students in second grade, and they came up and said hi, and I was so excited to see them. It had been many years since I had them. I think I had them during COVID in 2020, and so I didn't get to see the student that I had, but I saw their mom and their sister, and it caught me off guard, and I was just so excited to see them that I just realized once they left, I'm like, oh man, I could have asked them to put the cart away. And then right as I was thinking that, I had another parent that I had their child in second grade, and that one was just a few years ago, 2 to 3 years ago. And this time I was thinking ahead, and I said, oh, by the way, could you help me out? Could you put my cart back across the way? And she was so helpful, and she was so personable, and I was very thankful that I ended up going at a busy time so that I could have community members help me. And it just shows how much, like, community is so important, not just so that you can have people help you, but the relationships you build and the the trust that you can build with people, and the compassion and the love that you can share with others. And I was so appreciative. And I didn't say it earlier, but I had also seen another family in the community that I believe I had their child in second grade. Yes, I did, in second grade, and they were also in the process of moving as well. And so it was just really nice to be able to see so many people in the community and have them be part of a big milestone for me, doing a big order with my daughter and alone. And that was also the first milestone of me having to bring my daughter up 3 flights of stairs, put her in the crib, lock the door, and then run back down and make multiple trips up to get the groceries up the 3 flights of stairs and put away. And my heart broke when, like, I had to leave my daughter in the crib and she was looking at me and thinking, where is she going? But it was really good. And oh, and I forgot to say, when I parked the car, I didn't realize, when I was walking by with my daughter, I realized it was the license plate 888. And I love that angel number. That angel number for me represents abundance, because when you have the 8 on its side, it's like the infinity sign. And so you have lots of abundance, whether you're talking about relationships, whether you're talking about, and I'm not meaning romantic relationships, even though it can mean twin flames, but you can have an abundance of people that you care about. You can have an abundance of wealth or prosperity if you're talking about money or material things. You could also have abundance of being connected to what spirituality or nature or anything of how your life flows with connections and the web of people that you have. And so I always really love when I see 888. And I kid you not, as I was leaving the co-op, I also saw the license plates 777, which means you're, for me, whenever I see that, it means you're sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. It means that your seeds and the roots of the manifestations and or not manifestations, is it? Yeah, or what you are trying to manifest are taking root, and they are coming to you. It may not be as fast as you hope, but it's going to be coming to you. And it also means that you, even though when you are living your life, those of us who are, I don't know, spiritual or believe in a higher power, that it often represents that you're fortunate and that good things are bound to be happening. But really, there is neither good nor bad. It's all change. It's all flowing, and it's not all going to stay good, or it's not all going to stay bad if you're having challenging times in your life. But even through those challenges, a lot of people, if you can look at it in a different light and see, what am I struggling with? How is this helping me? How is this making me more compassionate, more empathetic? How is this changing me in a way that I'll never be the same? And so I always think of that as well, because while 777 people think of is a lucky number, there really is no, well, people have different opinions, but it all flows. And so I try to think of life as not being good or bad, but what can you learn from each situation? What if it is a positive one or if it's a negative one? And then 999 represents that you're in your final chapter, and that the book is about to be ending, and you're going to start a whole new adventure and a whole new book. And I am excited for that, because that's exactly what is taking place in my life right now. And so that was all on the 9th. I'm just looking down. Oh, and because I had to do that big order, I finally did take a picture of my daughter in the cart for, well, the second time, but just so that my husband was able to see it, and I shared it with my parents as well. And then on Thursday the 10th, on Thursday I had to do a lot of just like, regular laundry and dishes and just household items. And it was a really nice day. I really try to be meaningful and in person with my daughter. And I got to have in the afternoon a really just needed conversation with my roommate from college. And we had been so busy, each of us had been so busy with our lives that we haven't had a chance to connect in months, I think. And I feel like we really got to catch up with one another, see what we're both going through, be a listening ear and a support system for each other. And it's been so long that we've been able to do that, and it just was something that I really appreciated. And I was telling her all about my new milestones with Juniper, and hearing what her milestones were and what she's experiencing for the summer. And so I was really excited to be able to hear about her events and what she's experiencing. And then on the 11th, that Friday, that was a big day because that was the day that my principal had sent out his last email saying that it was his last day at the school in physical person in his office. And the minute he sent out that email, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize he was actually at the building. I'm going to have Juniper get dressed and get ready with her shoes, and we'll head on over there. And it was actually the afternoon, but Juniper loves being in her diaper, and especially because if you've seen my previous videos, or if you haven't, I don't have any air conditioning in this apartment, and so it gets very hot, and so usually we don't dress her unless we're going to be going out. And once I made that decision that we were going to go visit my principal, the clock said 111, which is another manifestation. The gates are open for what you want to manifest. And I thought it was just really intentional that I made that decision. I want to see my principal. I missed his going away party. I want to be able to see him one more time before I leave for the summer and before he finishes his job. And so it was great. I knew he had a lot of work to do, so we only made it really a quick visit. But he was, it was weird to be in the building and see his office empty, and it was just really nice to catch up and hear about who was able to make it to their farewell party for him, and how everyone just cherished him and celebrated him that night. And I was just really sad to be able to not be there to see it all, but it was really nice to be able to hear from his perspective how it went. And we both wished each other well. It was really meaningful for me to be able to go back to that school and do the same thing that he did for me when he went back to school, when he saw that I was still in my classroom. And so it meant a lot, and he has meant a lot to me, both personally and professionally over the years. And I'm gonna miss him a lot, but at the same time, it does make the move to my hometown easier, knowing that I'm not gonna miss the year of him being principal without me working there. But I do feel for my community of my colleagues and my students and the families that are gonna miss him as well. But no matter where he goes, he's gonna be a wonderful addition to any community, and he has a lot to bring. So I'm really happy for him. And so I'm just looking at my notes. So that was Friday. And then I had done a video on the 12th of July. That was the International Day of Hope. And I was really happy because that weekend my husband was able to come back, and he doesn't always have weekends off at this job. So I was really thankful that he came back and we were able to celebrate our anniversary, which was July 13th, which was 6 years ago. And we celebrated on Saturday because we knew that he would be really busy trying to get back driving to my parents' house, so he's ready for work on Monday. And we had a ball. And if you want a more meaningful and impactful amount of details for that day, you can look at that video that I had posted a few weeks ago. And let's see, on Sunday the 13th, we all went shopping together, and that was his first time to see our daughter in a cart going through the grocery store, and she was very entertaining, and it was so funny. Ever since the 4th of July weekend, she's been copying the posture that my dad does, and he does this thing when he sits, when he folds his arms, and it's hysterical, and she's doing that all the time, and she does it in the cart whenever we go to a store, and he just thought that was hysterical, and she's so cute when she does that. And so on Monday, let's see, oh yeah, Monday was a day where I was trying to catch up on sleep because, like I said, from the 8th that we came back all the way through that week and through the weekend, our daughter was not sleeping very well. She was in a lot of pain with her molars coming in, and it was just that night, Sunday night, I think I got only 3 hours of sleep. And so we laid low a lot, and I had been wanting to get some work done, and I needed to make some phone calls, and I needed to talk to doctors' offices, and I just didn't have the energy to do that. So I ended up doing that on Tuesday. And it was really funny. Well, it's not funny, but it was interesting because in one of the videos that I put up 3 weeks ago, I had talked about how I was so thankful that I didn't have to deal with pharmacies or insurance companies with not needing my medication that I had been on my whole life. And then Tuesday, I felt like I'm back in that same position, except I'm not doing it for myself. I was doing it for a family member. And I spent 3 hours and I felt like I didn't get anywhere. But then finally, we are fortunate and privileged enough that because our primary care physician was also leaving her line of work at her facility, we were down the person and the professional to help us through that process. So we ended up being able to just eliminate the insurance company and do it on our own, which is more expensive, but at the same time we were able to get what we needed faster and before the move, which was a huge piece of it. So that day I saw angel number 1010, and that was really important to me because it meant for me, and the symbols and the meaning behind it that I have always seen is that people will go out of the way for you, and that you're in the right place in the right time. And the person that I was talking to at the office that I was communicating with back and forth with the insurance companies, both the insurance person and the not the secretary, office personnel, they were going above and beyond trying to be so helpful to me, and I was just so appreciative, and I cannot thank them enough, both of them. They as stressful and as tedious as the process was, they were really personal people and really genuine, and I was really thankful to have them helping me through that process. And so I'm gonna stop the video here, and then I will start up again in the next video, starting on I don't even know what day I was on, starting on the 16th. So I hope everyone is taking care. I hope you're all feeling better than I feel at the moment. And I miss doing my videos, and I hope that some of this talk has brought some entertainment or some joy or just some I don't know, peace in other people's lives. And maybe you'll look out for angel numbers, or maybe you'll just think more deeply about the simple interactions and how they may have played a bigger web than you might have realized. And so I love you all. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.